She wasn't the one, you just wanted her to be. And there's a difference, a painful one that doesn't hit all at once, but unfolds slowly in the quiet corners of your mind, on sleepless nights, during empty mornings, or in the still silence after you've stopped checking your phone for her reply. You didn't fall for her because she was your soulmate. You fell because you were tired, because you were lonely, because you were exhausted from being misunderstood, unseen, untouched in the ways that mattered. You told yourself she understood you, that she saw something in you no one else did, that she meant what she said, and maybe for a while you really believed that, because you needed to, because it gave you something to hold on to when the rest of your world was coming undone. But deep down, you always knew. There were cracks in the foundation from the beginning, moments where her words didn't match her actions, times where her affection felt convenient, not consistent, where you felt more like an option than a priority, and you told yourself to be patient, that love was messy, that people needed time, that she just had walls, and maybe if you were steady enough, soft enough, loyal enough, you could help her tear them down. But love isn't a test. It isn't supposed to feel like proving yourself every single day. It isn't a reward given after enough suffering. It's supposed to be mutual, unforced, real. What hurts most isn't that she left, it's that she never fully showed up. You were there, present, open, willing, and she was halfway, just enough to keep you hanging, just enough to make you wonder if it was all in your head, and so you overanalyzed everything. Her tone, her pauses, the texts she didn't send. You started to shrink. You quieted parts of yourself just to avoid pushing her away. You began to question your needs, your boundaries, your worth, all for someone who was never all in. You didn't love her. You loved who she could have been. You fell in love with potential, with the hope that she would meet you where you stood, that she'd realize what you were offering, that she'd one day feel as deeply as you did. But hope isn't love. It's an illusion, a survival instinct dressed as faith, and when it's unreciprocated, it becomes a slow, private kind of heartbreak that no one sees, the kind you carry in silence, trying to make sense of a relationship that was never fully real. This is what people don't talk about enough. The grief of what never became, the mourning of a future you built in your mind, the pain of detaching from a version of someone who only existed in your imagination. Because on paper, there was nothing to grieve, but in your heart, it felt like a death, and no one gave you permission to fall apart, but you did, quietly, repeatedly, alone. And now comes the hardest part, not calling, not reaching, not explaining yourself one more time. It's learning how to unhook yourself from someone who never really held you. It's learning that closure isn't something they give you, it's something you give yourself. It's waking up and choosing, moment by moment, not to go back to a love that made you question your own value. It hurts. God, it hurts. Because you were loyal to a fault. You stayed long past the expiration date. You tried to love her into healing, into clarity, into seeing you. But she wasn't looking for depth. She wasn't ready, or maybe she just didn't care enough to try. And that is not a reflection of your worth. Some people simply cannot meet you at the level you love, not because you're too much, but because they aren't enough for what you bring. They don't have the emotional bandwidth, the courage, the maturity to handle someone who sees them so clearly. And instead of rising to that, they retreat, they deflect, they disappear, and now you're left with questions that will never be answered. But the truth is, you don't need them. You need you. The version of you that remembers who the hell you are, the one who stopped begging for love and started demanding respect, the one who finally understands that love should never feel like self-betrayal. You'll stop blaming yourself. You'll stop romanticizing the scraps she gave. You'll realize that what you miss isn't her. It's the version of yourself you got to be when you believed in that love. And that version of you, you can bring him back. Without her, you will heal, slowly. Not in dramatic declarations, but in quiet, subtle ways. In the peace of not checking your phone every 5 minutes. In the relief of not wondering where you stand. In the deep, steady breath you take when you realize you don't miss her voice anymore. You'll rebuild, brick by brick. You'll pour your energy into people who show up, into passions that ground you, into solitude that strengthens you. You'll stop confusing chaos with chemistry. You'll start craving peace over passion, stability over adrenaline, depth over charm. And one day, without realizing it, you'll wake up and she won't be the first thought in your mind. You'll see her name and feel nothing, no anger, no longing, just a quiet understanding that she wasn't the one. You just wanted her to be. And now you want something else. You want peace, reciprocity, clarity, and above all, you want you, the real you, the one who no longer chases love that hurts, the one who sits in the dark and knows their own worth. Because it was never about her. It was about the parts of you that were still bleeding. It was about the wounds you thought love could heal. It was about your hunger to be seen, to be chosen, to be told that who you are is enough. And that hunger made you reach for someone who didn't know how to hold you, who didn't have the language to speak to your soul, who didn't know what to do with a heart as open as yours. But your worth was never measured by her ability to see it. You are still whole, still valuable, still powerful, and every time you choose to stay away from what broke you, you step into that power a little more. Every time you stay silent instead of sending that text, you are reclaiming your energy. Every time you resist the urge to explain yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you, you are protecting your peace. So sit with the discomfort, sit with the silence, sit with the grief, and know that what you're feeling is not weakness. It's the sound of healing. It's the sound of your soul untangling itself from something that was never meant to stay. She wasn't the one. You just wanted her to be. But now, finally, you want something more. You want real. You want deep. You want someone who doesn't make you guess, who doesn't make you earn their love through suffering, who shows up fully, consistently, vulnerably, and before they find you, you'll find yourself. Not the version of you that waited, but the version that walked away, that stood up, that let go. Because sometimes the person you needed all along wasn't her. It was the version of you who finally stopped hoping for half-hearted love and started becoming the kind of person who would never settle for less again. That's your story now, and it's only just beginning. So if no one's told you lately, you're not crazy for caring that much. You're not weak for breaking down when it all slipped through your hands. You're not foolish for loving deeply, even when it wasn't returned the way you deserved. You were just real. And being real in a world that rewards detachment is its own kind of heartbreak, but don't ever regret it. Because the love you gave, raw, honest, unfiltered, was a reflection of your courage. It was never wasted. It just wasn't meant for her. And now, it's time to reclaim it. Not by rushing into something new, but by coming home to yourself, piece by piece, breath by breath, until one day, without effort, you become the person you kept hoping someone else would be for you. You don't have to chase love anymore. You are love, and when the right person finally comes along, they'll know. Not because you begged, not because you broke yourself to be enough, but because you healed. And healing, that's the most powerful love story of all.